So I think it's really important when you look at what's happening around the world and go back to first principles of what's happening in computer science and computing. Three things that's happening. The first thing is that we all know that Moore's law has run its course, and the ability, demand for computing versus the amount of computation we can get out of general purpose computing is really challenging.
Jensen Huang, he continues to shuttle between Washington and Beijing, trying to navigate an impossible geopolitical hand.
Nvidia has been banned from going to China, not to mention China has banned Nvidia going to China. I think we're the first company in history that has been banned on both sides.
Something significant is unfolding in the world of artificial intelligence, and it is no longer just about innovation, it is about dominance. What we are witnessing now is a full-scale escalation in what many are calling the AI war, where the biggest players in tech are racing not only to build the most powerful systems, but to control the infrastructure that will define the future. At the center of this battle is Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, whose company has quietly become one of the most critical forces powering the AI revolution. For years, Nvidia was known primarily for graphics cards used in gaming. But today, those same chips have become the backbone of modern AI. Training large-scale AI models requires immense computational power, and Nvidia's GPUs have become the industry standard. This has positioned the company in a unique and powerful role, supplying the very tools that competitors need to build their own AI systems. As demand for AI continues to surge, Nvidia is no longer just a participant in the race. It is a gatekeeper. But the landscape is shifting quickly. Companies like Google and Amazon Web Services are not content with relying entirely on Nvidia's hardware. They are investing heavily in developing their own custom AI chips and infrastructure. This move is strategic. By controlling their own hardware, they reduce dependency, lower costs, and optimize performance for their specific AI models. It also gives them a competitive edge in a market where efficiency and scalability are everything. Google, through its deep investment in AI research and infrastructure, has been building specialized hardware like tensor processing units designed specifically for machine learning workloads. These chips are integrated into Google's ecosystem, powering everything from search to advanced AI models. Meanwhile, Amazon Web Services, the world's leading cloud provider, is developing its own chips like Trainium and Inferentia to offer customers more cost-effective and scalable AI solutions. These efforts signal a clear shift. The battle is no longer just about software. It is about who controls the entire stack. Jensen Huang, however, is not standing still. He understands that Nvidia's advantage lies not just in hardware, but in its ecosystem. The company has built a powerful software platform around its chips, making it easier for developers to build and deploy AI applications. This combination of hardware and software creates a level of integration that is difficult to replicate. Huang has positioned Nvidia as more than just a chip maker. It is an AI platform company. The tension between these tech giants highlights a deeper reality. AI is becoming the foundation of the next technological era, much like electricity or the internet. Whoever controls the infrastructure of AI will have a significant influence over how this future unfolds. This is why companies are investing billions into data centers, chips, and cloud services. It is not just about competing products. It is about building the backbone of the digital world. Another layer to this competition is the speed of innovation. AI models are evolving rapidly, becoming more complex and more capable. This requires not only better hardware, but also faster deployment and iteration. Cloud providers like AWS and Google have an advantage here because they operate massive global infrastructures that can scale quickly. They can offer AI capabilities to millions of users and businesses, making them central players in the ecosystem.
The world's been moving to accelerated computing for some time. We've been pushing this now for over 20 years. Let me give you one statistic. I was just at supercomputing. 6 years ago, CPUs were 90% of the world's supercomputers, top 500 supercomputers. 6 years ago. Here, less than 15%.
Tech CEO that's been all over the place recently is Nvidia CEO, chipmaker-in-chief Jensen Huang. He was in Washington this week trying to reset the China narrative with lawmakers and the press. Let his chips into China or risk China replacing them. It'd be too late. Jensen admits he has no idea whether China would even accept Nvidia's H200 chips if the U.S. loosened restrictions.
went from 90% to 10%, and meanwhile, accelerated computing went from the other way, 10% to now 90%. You're seeing that inflection point, the transition in high-performance computing from general-purpose computing to accelerated computing.
So the real question now is how Nvidia replaces that demand. Where does Jensen globetrot next? He's already been to China at least 3 times this year. It's a major market for deals and a bet on sovereign AI to fill the gap. Or maybe the US hyperscalers will keep upping CapEx. None of that, though, is guaranteed.
Well, one of the most intensive computation things that the world does in cloud is data processing. Several $100 billion. The more
China accelerates domestically, the more Nvidia's global dominance gets tested. By the way, don't forget the TPU narrative. Google's custom chips are scaling.
Of computation is done on just raw data processing. It has nothing to do with AI. Just SQL processing, data frames, everybody's names, address.
And Nvidia may ultimately get squeezed on both sides. This to a different kind of travel itinerary. Replit CEO Amjad Masad calling in from the back of an Uber in Dubai to announce a multi-year partnership with Google.
Their sex, their age, where they live, how much money they make. All of that sits into a data frame, and that data frame drives the world today, whether it's in banking or whether it's in credit cards or, of course, e-commerce and everything from ad recommendation. And everything is driven off of that data frame.
Vibe coding darling Replit, last valued at $3 billion. It's one more way that Google can give its cloud customers access to the product layer. Google has its own AI coding tools, but they aren't the starting point for most people building with AI. Replit arguably has the broadest funnel in vibe coding.
That data frame costs hundreds of billions of dollars to go compute. And so that's the number one thing, end of Moore's law. The second thing is generative AI. The most important application of the last 15 years is called REXs, recommender systems. How do we know what information to recommend to us?
The place where non-technical teams, they go to build, who are increasingly the ones that are driving AI adoption inside big companies. Think marketing or finance staff.
In a social feed, how do you know what ad to recommend to somebody, what book to recommend, what movie to recommend? The internet is so gigantic.
Trying to spin up internal AI tools all on their own. That brings me to my conversation today with Matt Renner, president of Google Cloud, and Amjad Masad, Replit's CEO.
Without a recommender system, that little tiny phone of us will have no chance of ever seeing the right information. That REXs is the engine of the internet today.
Is really Google's momentum. Gemini 3, TPU custom chips, this industry-wide question as to whether Google has finally flipped the psychology in AI.
It's going generative AI. It used to be running on CPUs, now it runs on GPUs. Which then says the third thing, if you just look at those two applications, many of the internet companies can build an enormous number of GPU supercomputers. Of course, then it creates the third opportunity on top of it, which is agentic AI. This is Grok, and this is OpenAI, this is Anthropic, this is Gemini.
A momentum, right? A lot of customer momentum at this point. Without question, AI has been an incredible few years here as the generative AI momentum has hit the industry.
Agentic AI sits on top of that. But don't forget to think about what is happening underneath what everybody sees as AI today. There's a whole movement of computing from general purpose computing to accelerated computing.
We're in a unique position coming into this period in that we'd already gotten to scale. So we had global support. We could handle customers in all countries.
If you take that into consideration, you'll come to the conclusion that in fact, what is left over to fuel that revolutionary agentic AI is not only substantially less than you thought, and all of it justified.
Reason we felt pretty good about it, but again, we were third in market share at the time. AI has kind of reset the hyperscaler discussion. We have customers that have come forward that are now making decisions based on an AI partner. Why we are uniquely positioned in AI, actually offering we're in a category of one. And when I say that, I'm referring to the fact that we've got a full stack of first-party solutions, chips, all the way up through our data tools and our platforms in AI, to our models that we produce ourselves. And we couple that with being open. So we also can support up to 200 different models in our model garden. And we're very flexible to work with everything from other chips, other platforms. So we really do present kind of the best of both worlds, both a first party set of solutions, which are well received, but also the openness to use both. Momentum internally with customers, which have led us to be the fastest growing hyperscaler for the last 7 quarters. And AI has been a huge part of that. Not out there. I think the numbers don't lie. When you look at full cloud growth, So we feel very good about how we're doing against the competitors. We do feel like AI has been kind of a refresh or a reset, as I mentioned earlier. So we do feel good about that. And we expect and hope to continue to grow faster than competitors. Back to, we've got solutions for you that are in AI, that are our first party, but we also will provide the openness to leverage other solutions that you may have a previous investment. The strategy has definitely taken hold. We think it's differentiated because we have both, and we're seeing good momentum on the growth.
So Replit's vision has always been to make coding more accessible. It's been about what people call vibe coding now. We've been talking about it for over 10 years now.
However, Nvidia's dominance in high-performance GPUs still gives it a significant edge. Even as companies develop their own chips, many still rely on Nvidia for the most advanced workloads. This creates a dynamic where cooperation and competition exist at the same time. Tech giants may compete fiercely, but they are also interconnected, relying on each other in various ways to push the industry forward. The stakes in this AI war go beyond business. The outcomes will shape how AI is used across society, from healthcare and education to finance and entertainment. The companies leading this race will influence the direction of innovation, the accessibility of technology, and even the ethical frameworks that guide its use. This is why the competition is so intense. It is about shaping the future itself. Jensen Huang has often described AI as a new industrial revolution, and this perspective helps explain the urgency. Just as past revolutions transformed economies and societies, AI has the potential to redefine productivity and human capability. But unlike previous shifts, this one is happening at an unprecedented pace. The rapid advancement of AI means that companies must move quickly or risk falling behind. At the same time, this acceleration brings challenges. The demand for computing power is skyrocketing, putting pressure on supply chains and energy resources. Building and maintaining the infrastructure needed for AI is expensive and complex. Companies must balance innovation with sustainability, ensuring that growth does not come at the cost of long-term viability. There is also the question of accessibility. As AI becomes more powerful, there is a risk that only a few large companies will have the resources to develop and control it. This concentration of power could limit competition and innovation. It could also create barriers for smaller players and startups trying to enter the space. Ensuring that AI remains accessible and inclusive will be one of the key challenges moving forward. Despite these challenges, the momentum behind AI is unstoppable. The competition between Nvidia, Google, and AWS is driving rapid progress, pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Each company brings its own strengths to the table. Nvidia, with its hardware expertise, Google with its AI research and ecosystem, and AWS with its massive cloud infrastructure. Together, they are shaping a future where AI is integrated into every aspect of life. What makes this moment particularly fascinating is that the outcome is still uncertain. The balance of power could shift as new technologies emerge and strategies evolve. A breakthrough in chip design, a new AI model, or a shift in regulation could change the landscape overnight. This unpredictability adds to the intensity of the competition, making the AI war one of the most dynamic and consequential battles in modern technology. In the end, this is not just a story about companies competing, it is about a transformation that will impact everyone. The decisions being made today will determine how AI is developed, who benefits from it, and how it shapes the world. As the AI war continues to escalate, one thing is clear. We are witnessing the beginning of a new era, and the players leading this charge will define what comes next. The clash between Jensen Huang, Google, and Amazon Web Services is more than a rivalry. It is a reflection of a larger shift in how technology is built, controlled, and distributed. And as this battle unfolds, it will continue to push innovation forward, bringing both opportunities and challenges that will shape the future of artificial intelligence for years to come.
More people would want to make software, and AI really showed the world that that's possible. And so for us to achieve this tremendous vision, huge bet on Google Cloud. I mean, we started using Google Cloud in 2018 when we were still a tiny startup with like 5 or 6 people. We were in their startup program. It paid off. I mean, I think maybe it was for us, even a bit of a risky bet because Google Cloud was the newer player at the time, but Google Cloud has been moving really fast, and they have really every cloud solution under the sun, and so Replit is really the most complete vibe coding platform.
Like Replit has sort of the broadest funnel, right? Beginners can use it, non-technical teams. Amjad, I know we've talked a lot about how I've got my 10-year-old trying to vibe code on Replit specifically, because something that Matt said, he said that, there's optionality, but that's what AWS pitches. That's increasingly what Azure pitches as well. What about Google?
The OG AI chatbot creator starting to worry that it's losing its lead in the AI arms race. Just unveiled a whole slew of new AI tools at its reInvent conference that has taken over just about every venue in Las Vegas.
A few things. One is Gemini, and the set of Gemini models are amazing models. Like they span the entire gambit of really small model, like Gemini Flashlight is an amazing model. It's like people talk about AI too cheap to
Vegas today. One of those tools includes 3 new frontier agents that will revolutionize how customers can build, secure, and operate software.
It's like Flashlight is a workhorse. Like we use it for code-based search. We use it for so many things. Gemini 3 has amazing design.
It also unveiled its new Trainium chips. Joining me now to break down all of these, the US reInvent conference in Las Vegas is the top guy himself, Amazon Web Services CEO Matt Garman. I want to ask you about blowing up these legacy old tech servers. We can show people the video, but that was hilarious. You dynamited this gigantic piece of old equipment. Why?
It's fun. It's an ode to all of our customers who are really focused on getting out from their legacy systems. There's a bunch of people who are working hard to get off of Windows, to get off of VMware, and we've built a bunch of AI agents to help them with that. It's an ode to that.
Capabilities and amazing reasoning capabilities, we use it for that. So that's one, Google as an AI company and Gemini set of models.
And we see massive sets of customers all around the world getting off of those legacy technologies and moving to the cloud. And this was kind of a fun way to show that.
Yeah.
Are very important for us to produce this diverse set of use cases and users. And on the more traditional cloud stuff, I think Google has tremendous taste when it comes to designing these primitives, for example.
It was, but written on the actual server was the term tech debt. A lot of people are worried about actual debt right now. That's not what you meant. Describe what you say is tech debt and what you have unveiled to actually eliminate that.
Tech debt is this, there's many companies out there where most of their costs and most of their resources go to supporting their old legacy technologies.
For example, Google Cloud Run is an amazing container runtime solution that allows us to package anything that anyone makes in any language and ship it over to Google, and Google can run it, spin it up, scale down to 0.
And they're unable to take advantage of many of the new technologies from AI and other things. And so as companies can get off of those technologies and move to the cloud, they get much more agile and they can focus on new technologies and delivering value to their customers. And the cloud is really an unlock in that.
It becomes very cheap to run for small applications. It's very affordable. We charge $1 per hosted project, but you can scale.
And so this tech debt, though, is there's still tons of customers who have these on-prem environments or they're stuck to these legacy technologies, whether it's Oracle or Windows.
All the way to the moon, and we have companies on their way to millions of run rates running entirely on our Google Cloud-based solution.
Or other things like that. And so this tech debt is a real drag on what a lot of people spend their money on today. And AI is helping us.
So that's an interesting point. It's not just about like the single model that is ahead in all the benchmarks right now, but a family of different models. Before we get into more specifics.
With AWS Transform to help get those customers off of those legacy platforms and help them get to more modern environments.
Ask because Oracle has NetSuite, which a lot of corporations use. It is old. It's still working, though. Some of that, and maybe IBM has old technology as well. And I would think that an Accenture, which helps companies merge to new things, should.
Of the deal. I just want to ask you, Amjad, as well, who's using Replit within the enterprise? Like what kinds of teams? Are there technical, non-technical?
Perhaps be threatened by what AWS is unveiling here.
Actually, and our partners at folks like Accenture love this technology. It's in fact meant to be a technology that they can use to help companies get off of.
Both
And how sticky is that?
There are two primary use cases. One is for product development lifecycle.
Oracle databases to get off of things like NetSuite, to get off of things like Windows. Companies really desperately want to get off these and move to new technologies, do that faster because it means that they can help more customers. And so they're actually big users of these AI agents that we build, and we partner deeply with them.